Hi, boys and girls. So, yesterday we talked about how we could plan our first two boxes to help plan the beginning of our snowman stories. So, remember, the first box has the character, which my character is Snowy, and the maker is Evie inside. And the setting was outside of a house. It was a cold winter night. The moon and the stars were out. There was snow falling. And then in my second box over here, the event that happened is that Snowy decided her activity would be to go bake cookies. So Snowy decided to be mischievous and sneak into Evie's house and start making cookies. So she got all of her supplies out and she mixed the cookie dough together and put the chocolate chips in there. And then she put her first batch of cookies in the oven and realized, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot, I'm starting to melt. So there's my problem. Snowy's starting to melt. Snowy needs to fix her problem by doing something. So in the next two boxes, we are going to draw the next two parts of our story. And in the first one is going to be the solution. So how can Snowy solve her problem? She's in the house, she's melting, and she has cookies in the oven. What could she do? So I'm going to draw my solution here on the next box. My solution is that Snowy is going to have to go back outside where it's nice and cool. But she leaves her cookies inside. All right, I'm going to draw my picture and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so for my solution, I decided to have Snowy have to get outside quickly so that she doesn't melt all over the place. So Snowy came outside and at the same time, the timer went off for the cookies. So the beep, beep, beep woke up the little girl, Evie, and Evie came downstairs and she was like, so here's my thinking bubble right here. She was very confused, but excited, and confused, but excited, because she came down to the lovely smell of chocolate chip cookies. But, how did they get here? And why is there, like, water and, like, bits of snow on the floor here? So she was super confused, but super excited. She heard the timer. She thought, maybe Mom got up early, or Dad, and made me some cookies, or whatever it may be. So she was able to get out the cookies before they burned because, oh my goodness, that could have been a huge problem too, that the cookies burned. So she was able to get out the cookies, and she could put the new batch of cookies in and clean up the mess. So that problem was solved. And Snowy did not completely melt, but Snowy was still kind of just hanging really close to the door, because she saw Evie in the kitchen and she heard her. So she didn't really know what to do. All right. Now my last box over here, you know what? I'm going to add something. I started to put like the sun coming up, but I want to jump ahead. I still think it's, the moon is still out. There's still some stars. Like the sun just is starting to rise. I'm going to actually give some more clouds here, where the sun is just peeking out. So Snowy is like, I gotta get back into my place so that Evie doesn't see me hanging out by the front door. She's gonna be very suspicious then if I'm right at the front door. So in this last box is going to be the ending, the happy ending, and Evie's going to need to come out and look at her snowman, and if you remember in the book, think, what happened to my snowman? So we already can see Evie's looking a little messed up. She's looking a little different than she did at the beginning of the story. In the beginning of the story, she was very put together. We noticed her scarf and her hat and her nose and her buttons and her arms. And already here, she started to melt. So things started to get a little droopy and move around a bit. So we're going to see what her final look looks like when she's back in the yard where she should be, and when the sun is all the way up, and when Evie comes out. So the next is going to be my ending. All right, so here's my fourth box. So the little girl comes outside. Oh, I need to add now. The full sunshine. The sun is out. It is daytime. She comes outside. She's excited to see Snowy again. She's excited after eating her yummy cookies for breakfast. And she comes outside and she says, "Oh my!" Oh my is right. Look at Snowy. Snowy looks very different. And she's holding Snowy's scarf. If you remember from the third box over here, Snowy's scarf got caught in the door when Snowy snuck back outside. So Snowy's scarf, Evie's holding Snowy's scarf, and she goes over and sees that poor Snowy looks very different. So she wonders, what was my snowman doing last night? All right, boys and girls, you are going to work on your pictures for these last two boxes. I want you to look at your first two and remember your story and see what happened with your character and the setting, and then the event and what went wrong. And then you have to solve your problem here in the third box. So solve your problem, and then in your final box, it's daytime, and your creator, your maker, needs to come outside and see that your snowman or snow girl is very different from before, just like in the book Snowman at Night. So you make sure you're drawing in pencil, and then you can add some details in color after you draw in pencil, and have fun with your pictures, and we can't wait to see what you guys came up with.